From reaching the Wimbledon finals to not being able to play, Nick Kyrgios had quite a fall in the last year. The Aussie star has been making headlines for years with his flashy play, controversial antics, and blistering hot takes. But lately, there has been a growing chorus of voices calling for him to hang up his racket for good. And you know what? I'm starting to think they might be right. Don't get me wrong, I love watching him play as much as the next guy. He's got a raw talent and a fire in his belly that makes every match he plays an edge-of-your-seat spectacle. The man is no stranger to injury woes. The Australian tennis star has been plagued with various injuries throughout his career. And his latest setback is a knee injury that has kept him out of the upcoming Indian Wells and Miami Open tournaments. It's not the first time that Kyrgios has had to sit out a major tournament due to injury. In fact, he missed this year's Australian Open due to the same knee problem. The injury also forced him to undergo surgery to correct the issue. While it's understandable that injuries are part and parcel of any athlete's career, he seems to have a knack for picking up injuries at the most inconvenient times. As a fan, it's frustrating to see him constantly sidelined by injuries, and it's even more frustrating to see him struggle to regain his form after a long layoff. He has always been known for his fiery personality on the court, but his injuries seem to have doused the fire. It's clear that he's not at his best when he's carrying an injury, and it's disappointing to see him play below par. Hopefully, Kyrgios will take time to fully recover from his latest injury and come back stronger. But it's worth considering whether it's time for him to hang up his racket and focus on his health. And another reason why Kyrgios might want to retire is his family. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, great, here comes another sob story about a tennis player's tough childhood. But hear me out here. This one's actually pretty heartwarming. You see, Nick's family means the world to him. He's always been open about how important his parents, his siblings, and even his grandma are to him. In fact, he's been known to withdraw from tournaments or cut his season short to spend more time with them. And honestly, can you blame him? Who wouldn't want to hang out with their loved ones instead of getting their butt kicked on the court day in and day out? But all joking aside, this family-first mentality is actually something to be admired. In a sport where the pressure to perform and win can be overwhelming, it's refreshing to see a player who prioritizes their family over their career. And let's be real, Kyrgios has already had a pretty successful career. Making a Grand Slam final is no small feat, and he's got plenty of other titles. And accolades under his belt. So, if he decides to hang up his racket and spend more time with his family, who are we to judge? Of course, I'm not saying he should retire tomorrow, but I do think it's important to acknowledge the importance of family and the fact that there are things more important than tennis. Plus, who knows, maybe one day we'll see little Kyrgios dominating the tennis world. Now that would be something. Now I know what you're thinking, but Nick Kyrgios is a professional athlete. How hard could it be to play tennis all day? Well, let me tell you, it's not just about hitting a ball back and forth. Professional tennis is a grueling sport that requires an immense amount of physical and mental endurance. Not only do players have to stay in peak physical condition, but they also have to deal with the mental pressure of constant competition. Tennis players are constantly under the microscope, with every mistake and victory being analyzed by fans, coaches, and the media.
You knew it was coming.
It's not an easy life, and it can take a toll on anyone. And let's not forget about the injuries. He has been dealing with a knee injury for months now, which has forced him to withdraw from several tournaments. Tennis players are at a high risk for injuries due to the repetitive motions and constant strain on their bodies. These injuries can take months, even years to heal properly, and can have a lasting effect on a player's career. The mental toll of tennis can also be overwhelming. Players are constantly traveling away from their families and support systems. They have to deal with the pressure of constantly performing at a high level and the fear of disappointing themselves and their fans. It's no wonder that many players struggle with mental health issues, such as anxiety and depression. So when we look at Nick Kyrgios and his decision to potentially retire, we also have to consider the physical and mental toll that professional tennis takes on a person. It's not an easy life, and it's understandable that he may be considering his future beyond the sport.
Well, I'll be pretty upset if I lost to someone 2 weeks in a row as well. Like, maybe he should figure out how to beat me a couple more times first, and then get to that.
We all know that professional sports come with immense pressure to perform, but have you ever stopped to think about how that pressure can affect an athlete's health? Well, in Nick Kyrgios' case, it seems to have taken a toll. He's no stranger to controversy on the court. He's been known to speak his mind, challenge umpires, and engage in heated arguments with opponents. While some fans might find this behavior entertaining, it's clear that it takes a toll on Kyrgios. Think about it. Every time he steps on the court, he's not just playing for himself, he's playing for his fans, his country, and his sponsors. That's a lot of pressure to deal with, day in and day out. And it's not just the pressure to perform during matches. There's also the intense training sessions, the strict diet and fitness regimen, the constant travel, and the media scrutiny. All of this can be incredibly draining, both physically and mentally. It's no wonder that he struggled with mental health issues in the past. In 2022, he opened up about his struggles with depression and anxiety, revealing that he had been seeing a therapist to help him cope. While it's great that he's taking steps to prioritize his mental health, perhaps playing more tennis and putting more pressure on himself could make these problems worse, especially if he feels like he's hopeless because of injuries. And it's not like Kyrgios needs any more recognition. As I said before, Nick Kyrgios has certainly made a name for himself in the tennis world. But what will his legacy be if he decides to retire? While he may not have won as many titles as some of his peers, Kyrgios has always been known for his fiery personality and unique playing style. He's also been a strong advocate for mental health awareness, speaking openly about his own struggles with depression and anxiety.
Yeah, he's a bit of a god, I'm not going to lie. I thought I played well, but yeah, first of all, I just wanted to congratulate Novak and your team. Of course, you've won this championship, I don't even know how many times anymore, so...
He's also always been willing to speak out on social issues and use his platform to bring attention to causes that he cares about. Whether it's donating money to help those affected by the Australian bushfires or speaking out against racism in the sport, Kyrgios has shown a willingness to use his position to make a positive impact. So if Kyrgios does decide to retire, he'll leave behind a legacy of both on-court brilliance and off-court advocacy. So while he may not have won as many titles as some of his peers, he will always be remembered for his unique style of play and his willingness to stand up for what he believes in.
Makes everyone here love this so much. What do you think it is?
And of course, his fiery personality, and that's why Nick Kyrgios needs to retire.